Welcome back to the program. You're still watching Daily Politics on Trust TV. Now let's segue and talk about some politics as the crisis within the People's Democratic Party, PDP, continues to deepen. A fresh clash is brewing between the camps of former governor and Federal Capital Territory Minister Nyesom Wike and the governor of Oyo State, I beg your pardon, Governor Seyi Makinde, over the venue of the party's national convention that is scheduled for November 15th and 16th. Southern stakeholders are also rejecting some of the things on the agenda, issues around zoning arrangements, saying the resolutions do not reflect the position of the wider PDP South. Let's unpack these developments and what they mean for the future of PDP amid its internal crisis, one that threatens its cohesion ahead of the 2027 elections. Joining us is a party chieftain. Daboikiabo Warmate is here to provide some sort of context to this development. Comrade, as always, it's good to see you. Thank you so much for stopping by tonight.
Thank you for having me.
Right off the bat, it seems to me that Atiku has left, but the problems within the PDP continues to persist. How would you contextualize this back and forth about the conventions? I mean, the FCT minister recently granted an interview and he had quite a lot to say about the neck that took place, which he didn't recognize, but more importantly about the choice of the venue of the convention.
Well, you see, thanks for once again having me. And let me say that the neck has met and they have discussed and come up with a resolution and has decided that the convention should be held in Ibadan. And as it is with PDP convention or tradition, most of the times when we don't have, the center, conventions have been taken to states where we have governors, So I think that was what has informed our leaders at the NEC to come up with this resolution of picking Oyo State as the venue for the convention.
And is this unusual for PDP to change convention venues?
No, it's not unusual. It's not unusual. We've had incidents where we've held a convention in Port Harcourt and we've held convention in Jos, at the exception of PDP, and the forthcoming convention, which we believe will take place in Ibadan come November 15th and 16th of this year.
And is this pushback when it comes to the convention venue a big issue within the PDP circles, especially the leadership, or do you think it's just people like Nyesom Wike, for instance, that just have an issue with the choice of the convention venue?
I don't think the convention venue is really the issue. I don't think so. I believe the issue is the zoning formula within the South as it is today. It's not the venue of the convention, I think so.
And are we imagining this rift between Governor Seyi Makinde and FCT Minister Nyesom Wike? Because, just a little over a year ago, they were all on the same page as the G5 governors. Is this rift a figment of our imagination as media, or do you think there is a bone of contention there?
Well, I cannot say for a certain, but what we all are aware of is that, it's politics we are playing and there is interest. Everyone has interest, and just like they always say, is interest, the only permanent thing is interest. No permanent friend, no permanent enemy in politics is permanent interest. So I believe that must have informed, what we are seeing today as to the FCT minister and the Oyo State governor not on the same boat, on the same page, on issues relating to the party.
And how influential is it for, say, a PDP governor to have the convention in his home state, for instance? Is there some sort of advantage that is going to play out? Why should people necessarily be concerned about where the venue of the convention is held?
I don't think there is any advantage to it, to the best of my knowledge, because we also saw what happened in Port Harcourt when the present FCT minister, who was then the governor of Rivers State, hosted the party, organized the convention was held in Rivers State, and we all know that his interest was not the former vice president, it was the former speaker and former governor of Sokoto State. But at the end, the former vice president won. So following that, I don't think there is any advantage, and I don't think there is a bone of contention as regards what is happening between the FCT minister and the Oyo State governor.
And let's talk about zoning, because it is something that is still on the table, something that has torn PDP apart from 2019 to the last election in 2023. It does look like in the southern part of the country, at least the southern caucus of the PDP is divided around whether this should be decided at the November 15th and 16th convention. What are some of the grumblings about regarding this issue of zoning?
You see, I want to humbly advise the chairman of the zoning committee to be careful. And reason being is that if you look at the trajectory, when Senator Ike Kweremadu was appointed as the chairman of the Election Performance Review Panel, after coming up, one of the significant recommendations that he came up with that enabled PDP not to have crisis in 2019 was stating it clearly in line with the Constitution and in line with the pulse of the nation that the presidential ticket should be zoned to the north. Now, in 2019, after the election, there was a Bala Mohammed same panel, election review panel committee. But Bala Mohammed committee threw the ticket open, which was a disservice as far as those of us are concerned to the party. Because in his report, he acknowledged the fact that the pulse of the nation is that the presidency should come from the South. And also in the South, that the South has only taken the Southeast has taken a very short time at the presidency. Then if it's the North, there should be the Northeast. He acknowledged that in his report, but at the end and said we have capable hands across the country. Yes, we have capable hands across the country. Our founding fathers were not, stupid to have put zoning in the Constitution. So that should be respected. We expected that it would be like that. But when that report came up, we felt and took it lightly. It was based on that report and political interest that led to the Autumn Zoning Committee to throw the ticket open, drawing strength from the Bala Mohammed committee report. So that was what led us to the crisis we experienced, internal wrangling in 2023 and beyond, before we resolve most of them. Now, that is why I said I want to advise the zoning committee chairman to be very careful, because posterity will judge him. Now, coming to the bone of contention, which some group has met in Lagos, calling it PDP Zoning Southern PDP Zoning Summit, and some have said no, that should be recognized. And why I said the chairman is the chairman of the the zoning committees at the center of it is that if such a thing is being convened by the zoning committee from the South, then we have people that should be seen at that meeting, not just a particular interest. Now, I'll give you, for example, if you are looking at PDP today from the South, if you are following the protocol, national protocol, after the president, the vice president, the Senate president, the speaker, if you are following that protocol, the highest ranking public servant of PDP extraction from the South is the minority leader of the House of Rep, the Right Honorable Kingsley Ogunduchinda. And such a person is not in that meeting, so-called Southern Zoning Summit. And the chairman is there. In fact, I like how one of the paper puts it. Is it Poncho? So he said, Southwest Zoning Committee. So if you look at it, it looks as if the chairman of the zoning committee is taking sides and shouldn't be seen that way, to have been in this thing. Right now, we cannot say who is the brain behind that summit. I would have suggested to the chairman, if I were to be him or I had the opportunity to advise him, that when you see that we're in a critical and tense situation like this, you ask all interest group or all interest to submit it via mail to the committee. that, okay, this is the zoning formula, we prefer, this is it. Then the committee will now look at it, rather than calling a committee and go to Lagos and you only see a set of people and the other set of people. And so you are laying foundation for the disunity and the disruption of the convention.
And is microzoning necessarily the target here, the end game?
Yes,
microzone.
It's microzoning, because if you look at it, it's clear. Southern Zoning Summit is microzoning within the zone. So if you look at it, the what is it called? The chairman of the zoning committee is national chairman of the zoning committee, not the South. So I don't think there's even need for him to be in that meeting, because you are from the South, yes, but you should be seen to be neutral. As we speak today, with his presence there, it has not built confidence in the other set interest group that it will be fair to them. And that's why we saw that they went to the press and had to ventilate their displeasure and disappointment that the zoning committee chairman will convey a meeting of such, and without inviting key persons or notifying them late to the meeting. And he is there. It called for questioning, and I feel very disappointed at this point. It's one of the persons I've respected, and we have supported his committee, but with this action of him, is laying a foundation for the rest, for people to lose confidence in the report that will come up on Monday during our NEC meeting.
And do you worry that before that NEC meeting happens, that the whole plan that a couple of weeks ago looked solid, whether it's the venue for the convention or the issues around zoning have been settled, could be undermined?
Yes, it could be undermined. And that is why I would advise, for the interest of peace, that the zoning committee chairman, knowing that there is tension right now within the southern zone of the party, to leave it as it is, let the status quo remain. Both parties will feel, okay, we no victor, no vanquish, because there is no manipulation. Let the status quo remain as it is. Let all the people in Southwest produce the deputy national chairman, South, let the Southeast produce the national secretary, let the South produce whatever position that has been allotted to them. Let the status quo remain in the interest of peace, because what we want is a PDP. And that is what Nigerians have been craving for, not where the person comes from. But we know politicians, how they are. So for the interest of peace, let the status quo remain.
Okay, let's talk about zooming out a little bit away from internal wranglings. Two names have been popping up over the past couple of weeks, mostly from within the PDP, talking about the possibility of the party moving in a different direction in 2027. I'm sure you watched that interview of Professor Jerry Gana, one of the founding members of the PDP, and you've also, heard what he had to say about a certain Peter Obi. Also in Bauchi State, when Governor Bala Mohammed hosted the Labour Party's presidential candidate in 2023, he did, urge him to come back to the PDP. And then there's the talk of a certain Goodluck Jonathan, the last PDP president we had in this country, also being talked about. The likes of Sule Lamido throwing his weight behind a possible return of Goodluck Jonathan to the PDP to present a united front. What are your 2 cents about some of the internal voices within the PDP beckoning these two individuals to come back to the PDP to present the best options for Nigeria? Good news as far as you're concerned, or otherwise?
Well, I have a mixed reaction to that. And my mixed reaction to that is that, one, it's a good news. They are welcome. They have the political currency, for PDP to leverage on, and for them to also leverage on PDP structure, which is across the country. That is okay. The only aspect I feel that a bit not happy about is that, one, it will be a disincentive to committed members. And how do I mean? Let me start with the P2B. P2B has left the party and just coming to give him tickets, which I am seriously against. As a person, I'm against that.
Even if it means you're going to win?
No, that is what I'm saying, misreaction. In the interest of Nigerians, because of their cries and, wailing that this government has impoverished them, has put them in a state of dehumanization. That is why, otherwise, we should encourage those that have remained fervent with the party. Now, as for the former president, beautiful. Also, it's the same issue I have, because he has stayed back from the party. He has acted as if he's nonchalant about what happens in the party. At the time, we also expect that he would have forgiven the party. Yes, the party hurt him, no doubt about that. Most especially our brothers from the north, no doubt about it. But we felt at a point he would come and provide leadership for the party. But he did not do that. And others have managed to do that. How do we encourage those if these people just come in to pick ticket? Just come in, pick ticket and become... That is one other aspect. That's why I say misreaction. Otherwise, they have the political currency, they have the followership, they have the support. The former president has a very wonderful support, most especially from our brothers in the north, that he has demonstrated capacity. They've seen him. They can attest, they are sure of his capacity to deliver. And that of Peter Obi, you can see that he has the young Nigerians behind him. That is also for him. So we will be glad to welcome them, but we also want to use this opportunity to say that people should be patient, no matter how offended, because that is the issue I have. What about those that are eminently qualified, that have remained fervent and faithful to the party? What happens to them?
But if you have to choose between winning the election with either Peter Obi or Goodluck Jonathan or rewarding loyalty, which one would you pick?
Well, I will just want to say that because of the crying Nigerians, because of the suffering Nigerians, because of the insecurity, because of the hunger in the land, I will want to say anybody that can give us a winning chance, let's go for it. But we should ensure that this should be the last time we should do that. Otherwise, I would have preferred, if not for that, I'll prefer that no matter what it is, let's pick a fervent person and we can make that person, give the person the political currency, because PDP is the only party that has the strongest structure in this country. And we can leverage on that to bring anybody for Nigerians to look at and say, okay, yes, most especially if the person have the characteristics that deserve of a good leader. All right,
we're out of time, but in a few seconds, if you can, talk to me about the upcoming Neck meeting and the PDP's position, saying that, listen, they're going to take action on the FCT minister. They're going to sanction him for what he's been saying and the impact it is going to have on the party. Do you see that sanction actually deterring the FCT minister? And are you concerned that the next Neck meeting could unravel a lot of other problems ahead of the November convention?
No, because right now, you see, is the forthcoming Neck meeting, the major issue will now be the southern issue, the zoning issue, because it is raising a lot of dust, as you can see from today. A lot of voices have been coming up to talk about it. So it is one of the major issues that will confront the Neck that is coming. And as for the FCT minister, the Deputy Publicity Secretary has said something, and it is left for the Neck. Whatever decision the Neck takes, it depends on whatever the Neck feel is necessary. They'll take the action, but not to say that as we speak today, the most important thing is that zoning of this micro zoning within the southern region that will take the front burner in the forthcoming Neck, because the zoning committee chairman has begun to make some of us lose confidence in him by virtue of what we saw today happened in Lagos.
All right, interesting take. Wait to see what the next week will present as far as developments within the PDP is concerned. One thing is certain, PDP will always keep Nigerians on their toes about the drama that continues to unfold.
PDP will always make Nigerians proud.
Exactly. Anyway, Comrade Daboikiabo Warmate, thank you so much for joining us on the program today. It's good to see you as always. Thank you for the analysis.
Thank you for having me on.
Right. And that is our offering for you on Daily Politics tonight. Thank you most kindly for joining us. We'll be back tomorrow for another edition of the program. I'm Abdullahi Ahmed. For myself and the rest of the team, thank you for watching. We'll see you next time.